Are we going? We're waiting?
Yeah, we are live.
All right, guys. I don't know how long the delay is, so I'll stall for a moment. But then, okay. Today's topic is 85% of resellers resell for one of these two reasons. So if one of these two reasons applies to you, let me know in the comment section below. Maybe give me a like. And if it is not one of the reasons why you resell, then please put it in the comment section below. So the top reason, without, like, it's by far the biggest reason, with 48% of people picking this reason of why they resell, is so they don't need to have a boss. So I kind of want to get into this and see exactly why it's such a pain to have a boss, because personally I've had many jobs where I like my boss. I've had jobs where I don't like my boss, but number one reason people don't want to resell is they don't want a boss. Number two would be they want to earn additional income on top of their existing income. So that tells me that 37% of people are reselling on top of their regular job, or in addition to Social Security, or in addition to maybe they're the secondary income in their family. So one person makes the money, they're making additional money. So let me know in the comment section below, but that's 48% top reason is they don't want a job. Another 37% is they want additional income. That's already 85% of people. That's like everybody. So let me know what other reasons you might resell. I think that I really want to understand this top reason, which is why are people not wanting a boss? So I guess ask me questions about that. Is it because you don't like the schedule? Is it because you in your heart you're lazy and you don't want to work at all? Which is fine. I would say that I have some of that. Some of the reasons why I want to operate a business that's bigger or create a business that has staff is that I want to do maybe less of the tasks I don't want to do. But I will tell you for sure though, having staff, having contractors, having people help is more stressful than doing it by myself. I think people maybe don't understand the trade-off. If you want something a little bit more passive, usually the stress goes up. So it depends on how you're running your operation, but let me know in the comment section below. Today is open Q&A, we're live. Why you don't want a boss, or I don't really fully understand why that's the top reason. I wouldn't say that's why I resell.
Good morning.
Morning, everybody. And then the second reason would be additional income. Maybe let me know in the comments below. Are you looking for $500 a month extra, $100 a month extra, a couple $1,000 a month extra? I know that there are people that really aim for the 100 item a week plus full-time job. So my friend Mark in Minnesota, he works a full-time job and he lists 105 items a week, which is 15 per day. So what he does is he wakes up, does his shipping, goes to his regular job. During the lunch break, he goes thrifting, finds a few items, goes home at night. I'm sorry, let me back up. Ships first thing in the morning, then photographs and lists 15 items in the morning because he has, I think, either 2 or 3 kids. So goes to work, thrifts during lunchtime, comes home, family time. He's been doing that for several years, and his goal was to make 200,000 at work, make 100,000 reselling, and then invest that secondary income so he can retire earlier. So it depends on how you guys want to approach it. He's in bucket number 2, where he wants to earn additional income on top of his main income. And I think he actually likes his job. So I personally do like working for other people, and I work for my own company here. So what is it about working for your boss that's so, what's that word called? Visceral? Like people are like allergic to working for other people, and I want to know why.
There's a few comments about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, side gig, hello, hello. They say, sometimes I know more than my boss. Alex
Mm.
says, personally, I like working for myself. I'm looking to get out of the current business and support myself for this business. And Josh says, overworked and underappreciated.
Overworked and underappreciated. Well, I can tell you for sure, working for yourself, it's negative ROI in the beginning. Like in the beginning, you have to learn how to do something and you don't get paid. So in this scenario, it's different. Like if you were to come work here, you would get paid immediately. There is no like grace period where you have to learn how to do your job before you get paid. Imagine you went to a company and they said, okay, thanks for working here, but for the first 3 months, you don't get paid anything. In fact, you pay us to get started. We'll kind of show you, and then you get paid a little bit. After month 3, you get paid $2 a week. Is that fair? That's sort of what like being an entrepreneur is in the beginning. You lose money. If you're buying inventory that doesn't sell, you lose money as a reseller. I was just looking at this article by Jungle Scout. I'm not sponsored by them. They're just a video. They're just a software for Amazon sellers. They were saying something like 91% of resellers earn less than $1,000 a year. So that's scary. So okay, this is crazy. I'm probably going to start a Poshmark closet at home. So one of the things that is interesting about this setup is we've switched 100% over to Whatnot. But I'm thinking about doing a Poshmark closet at home. Now, I just met with Poshmark because they have new business tools for commercial sellers like myself. So they wanted to get some feedback on how I would benefit from different tools they create for business enterprise type sellers, right? So I'm not going to go over what's in the meeting because I think it's somewhat confidential, but I do want to say that they led the meeting with Poshmark has 80 million active Poshers. Okay, let me give you guys something kind of wild. If you take Poshmark's revenue, okay, and divide it by 80 million Poshmark sellers, guess, put in the chat. Like, how much money do you think that is per Poshmark seller? Throw in the chat, let me know. I want to hear some guesses for what you guys think. I wish I could do a virtual poll, maybe later when we
I
have a
know.
video game set up. How much do you think the average Poshmark seller sells per year if you divide their revenue by 20 or by 80 million? I want to hear. Poshmark seller, how much money do they make per year? It's gonna blow. It blew my mind. Because okay, normally this is what you say when you're a big company. You say, "Sell with us because we sell this much money. You make this much money, right?" Poshmark led the meeting with, "We have 80 million active Poshmark sellers," which is like, that's a weird way to introduce a sales meeting because usually business meetings are more money oriented. But I'll give you the answer. You guys ready? What are people guessing?
Flippin' Eric says Posh has got to be under $100. Lady Farm also says $100, but people
Really?
are saying lower than that, $30.
That's what people would guess. I would guess it was higher than that. But the average Poshmark
Tammy
seller,
says 3K.
okay, the average Poshmark seller all year sells $25. Yeah, it's $25 is the average Poshmark seller all year, right? So, assuming you have $25 in sales, the customer on Poshmark pays for the shipping. Your cut of the $25 would be $20 as they take 20%. So you get $20 of money that from your payout on average into your Poshmark earnings, right? And then of that, you sold something that you already own, so probably it's $20 profit. If you consider your cost of goods zero, which is kind of not the case. Like as an example, this T-shirt costs $35 brand new. If I resell it for 20, which I think is totally reasonable, right? I resell this shirt for $20 if it's in good condition. I paid 35 for it. I don't really count it as me getting the shirt for free because I did buy it for $35. So if you wear it for a year, do you depreciate your shirt and now it's worth 14 because you wore it for a year and it's worth a little less? Because new is worth a lot less than, I'm sorry, pre-owned is worth a lot less than new. So I'm curious what you guys think of that, but I don't really count that as zero. And the people who do that, they're more hobby sellers in my opinion because the difference between a hobby and a business for the IRS is you're doing it for a profit, that's a business. You're doing it not for profit, that's a hobby. So I'm just surprised that it's $25 a person on Poshmark all year. So it makes sense to me why they're going after the commercial customer. What do you guys think? Is it in Poshmark's best interest to grow the seller that does $25 a year? Or focus on the full-time sellers that are doing a few $100s a day, right? So it's almost like there are FBA sellers on Amazon, single people that outsell all 80 million people on Poshmark combined. That's how scary it is. Like that's the difference between the level of seller, right? Can you imagine a few people outselling an entire platform? That's the difference in scale. Like I remember in 2017, I told told eBay CEO Devin Winnig, I was like, how do you guys feel about Poshmark's Posh Post? Because Poshmark has a shipping discount. Under £5 goes for a certain rate. And the guy said, look, eBay does more money per day than they do per year, right? So we don't base our decisions on how somebody like that operates. We do our own things, and we also have a much steeper discount. So, you know, eBay has a really, really steep discount with the post office as well, and they have more options. They've got first class, medium mail, priority mail, overnight. They have FedEx and UPS. You can even upload your tracking however you want to do it. Even if you do LTL, which is less than truckload, you can do. There's so many different options with eBay, and they had that discount too. The Posh Post, I believe, from my guess, of course, this agreement is sealed between Poshmark and the post office, so we don't know, but I would guess that their £5 rate is based on the average package being £1. That's why the rate ends up being where it is. So I don't know what you guys think.
Well, Flippin' Eric is asking, so Chris, with the following you have, how much of an impact do you think you'd have with Posh?
Wait, what?
Like with sales, I assume.
Oh, with my following? Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good question. So I'm gonna try to set up my Poshmark so it doesn't require my following. Because here's the thing, even with a following, you can't sell things that people don't want, right? So from my experience, you sell things that are already valuable for more, you're gonna do really, really well as an influencer. If you're just selling kind of garbage, it still doesn't sell. If you're an influencer though, you can sell merch, which is the value of my brand, but I would have to do it tastefully so that the merch actually added value to somebody's life. Otherwise, you're just kind of milking your audience, and it's kind of a waste of like people don't like that. So this week I'm gonna get hopefully a contract back from Whatnot, and if I do, I'm gonna do a 100 item giveaway next Monday. So cross your fingers. This week I get a contract back from Whatnot, and next week on Monday I'll just give away 100 merch because I don't really have time to sell merch as of right now. So I'm just gonna give it away to my audience. You guys have helped me get to where I am, so I'm losing money on the selling stuff to my audience part, but it's okay. It's cool to give back. But on Poshmark, I feel like I know all the Poshmark people with the biggest followings, million, 2 million, 4 million followers, and they don't make any money. They just have a lot of followers. And I always get that, Chris, should my follower goal be? And I don't understand what that is. Like I met a girl that for her birthday, she wanted her husband to buy her followers. And I was just thinking, what kind of gift is that? And then how is that? Is he like on the street asking people to follow, or is he just buying artificial followers? That was such a weird, but people want that. They want more than an actual, like, I want a purse, I want a jacket, I want a trip. No, I want followers. That's just like a really interesting concept to me because I don't know,
I don't know, like their idea of social
their
status,
idea,
I
so
guess.
I guess that's true. Their social status is the most important thing to them, so it makes
Even if
sense that they
it's
want followers. But in
not
that scenario,
genuine.
you would know in your heart that those followers are fake. So I don't know. That would be like me saying I want a fake purse, right? Or a fake wallet. I know that it's not real. I don't know why I would want that, but people do want that social status. They want the clout.
Um, Sylvia Hunt
Sylvia,
says,
what's up?
"Hi Chris, my first show will be tomorrow at 11 a.m. Thank you for your help and support."
Wow, congrats. I'm glad that you're going to try it tomorrow. Remember, be patient. It takes a long time. I've been building a following for a long time. So um, I'm going to share this again, but it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Last week I saw this post in a forum and it said, I posted a pop-up show with no pop-up show means you just run a show out of nowhere. The lady has no following. The items were below average. So no preparation, no planning. She just posted a show and with her daughter. And she said, I'm disappointed and my daughter is disappointed. But let me ask you guys, what do you think? If you do a pop-up auction, don't tell anyone. You don't have an audience. You don't have very good items. What do you think the result would be? Right? No audience, not very good items, no experience. I don't see how that could be successful. Like, I wouldn't be disappointed if I went outside right now and offered this pair of shoes right here. I just offered this pair of Vans on the street. I wouldn't be disappointed if nobody bought them. There's nobody out there. There's nobody there. I didn't tell anyone. Nobody knows. So there's no audience, and it's not like I'm saying, yo, I'll be on the corner selling $100 bills for $50. Only one person would need to find out, and then a few hours later, the whole city would be here trying to sell, to get $100 bills for $50. But like, how is that possible that she expected results with no interest and no audience? So it's just kind of like, that post made me cringe, and people said, don't be so hard on her. And I was just thinking, I'm not being hard on you. I just want the expectations to match. If you said, I'm going live next week, I have a well-planned show with good items, but I don't have an audience yet, that would work, because people would say, okay, next Friday there's a show going on. They're selling Vans sneakers at $4 start price in sizes 6 through 12, and I'm a size 12. I'm going to show up and try to get a pair of Vans for $4. That's how you build a following, right? Not every single item that I sell is at a profit. Sometimes I sell items to just get audience. When you start a YouTube channel, because in our group, I'd say there's right around 1,000 people out of 2,700 people that want to start a YouTube channel. It's very popular. But the first year on YouTube, I only made $100. So it's not like you make money right out the gate. You have to actually, in my opinion, you can make money right out the gate if that's your goal. But I just feel like I wouldn't expect you to make money on YouTube immediately. It doesn't make sense to me. It seems like it would take a long time.
John McVicker has a question.
Yep.
I have my first baby on the way.
Nice.
I was going
Congrats.
to extend eBay handling time, remove best offer, and all markdown sales, so any orders would be at full price. Or should I just put my store in holiday mode?
Is this your first? For me, the first 2 weeks, I was not home because, I was home, but we did breastfeeding, so I couldn't help with that. And the first couple of weeks, like, grandma was helping, so I felt like I wasn't doing anything because I couldn't feed the baby, and the baby is constantly, the only thing that I was doing was not sleeping because the baby wakes up every few hours, and I'm doing my best for emotional support. So during that time, I did not adjust anything. I had the same shipping time, I had the same handling time. I even did my mastermind calls from the hospital. And okay, don't make this mistake. I actually decided, because we had a really good birthing experience, except for I went home the next day. Natalie was born at 4 o'clock in the morning. We went home the following day. We should have stayed an extra day or two, but I was like, wouldn't we be more comfortable at home? Because the hospital experience is kind of like not, like it's not, hospital's not as comfortable as home. So we left the next day, but then we don't know how to take care of a baby. So it was like kind of complicated to figure that out. So what I recommend is take 2 weeks off, maybe just turn the store off. Ideally, when I redo it, like I'm hoping for a second baby, when a second baby comes, I'm going to take 2 weeks off. It's just, that's one of the reasons why I'm working so hard, so I can take 2 weeks off. It's really hard to be juggling both, and you may feel like, I don't know if you're your situation, but like, I think it'd be better to be there emotionally instead of like, I kind of was upset with not being able to do anything. I really bonded with the baby once I could do some feeding. Bottle feeding really helped me, but before that, I just felt like left out because it was hard to, I'm not really contributing other than just looking at her. So if you can take 2 weeks off, if you want to extend your handling time, what I would do is I would do handling time of 10 days, and I would keep best offer on. I would just respond back with a counter offer and say like, accept this offer only if you're okay with 10-day handling time. That's what I have done in the past. So I put, I'm going to be gone for 10 days. When I went to Japan for 2 weeks, I put, I'm going to be gone for 10 days. If you accept this offer, it's not going to ship until this date. So I just kept that copy and paste template for 2 weeks. When I came back, shipped everything out, no problems. Also, I messaged everybody at the end of the day and said, hey, I'm out of town. I won't be back for 10 days. I won't be back for 9 days, 8 days, 7 days until I came back. Please give me a grace period. And I made a mistake of that Monday when I came back, I wasn't able to ship everything. It was too much shipping. So what I recommend is give yourself an extra grace day. If you're coming back on Monday, don't do your handling time until Tuesday. So you have an extra day to get back into the groove. And this is an unfortunate truth in my opinion, but if you take 2 weeks off, it'll take you double that to get back in the groove. So it's best, in my opinion, to not take any days off with eBay and just do a small amount every day. 1 hour a day every day is easier than 7 hours on Saturday because the momentum is so difficult to rebuild. I would recommend giving yourself some grace. If you take 2 weeks off for a baby, it's like 6 weeks off. 2 weeks off, you're not making money, and then 4 weeks after that, you're kind of discombobulated until you get back into the groove. So unfortunately, when you run your own business, taking time off is kind of a huge hiccup.
A couple questions about Poshmark.
Yep.
Sue Bonin says, I am new to this, so why do Poshmark if you do not make any money? Please help me understand.
That's a good question. I don't know. So I would recommend don't do Poshmark. My official recommendation is don't do Poshmark at all. I think it's fun. It's more social. But if, as far as like earning potential, they take a 20% cut, right? And you have to share. So every time you share, your hourly rate goes down. I don't recommend that because you want your hourly rate to go up. Each time you share an item on Poshmark, you make less and less and less money. It doesn't make sense to me the way they have it set up. I don't know if this is public knowledge, so I'm not going to explain what they offered, but I don't think Poshmark's going to get rid of sharing. You guys put this in the chat. I don't think that they are. I think that it's part of the way that Poshmark is created that you have to spend time sharing. So personally, it would be like this. Okay, if I told Christine, you're my videographer, right? So we're going to make a video this week. You have to do the maintenance on that video forever and don't get paid. That's how Poshmark kind of feels to me because like you have to keep sharing, right? There's no end to that. So some people pay a virtual assistant, some people pay a bot. That's a continuous cost forever, and I don't like that. I'd rather you sell on Amazon or Mercari or eBay where they don't have to do that. So, but personally.
Yeah. Well, Floppy Bob is asking though, Chris, do you recommend a smaller Poshmark closet with higher profit items in order to share more during the day? How many items do you recommend in a closet to maximize sales and sharing?
That's a great question. So I personally, because I can't sell on eBay anymore, I was thinking about a 1,000 item closet, average sale price $40. I've got to make up for that $8 Poshmark fee, which is 20%. So I recommend 10 a day, $40 and above average sale price if you're going to sell on Poshmark. And because one of the reasons why I recommend that is because you don't want items that that last a long time. So you want your sell-through rate to be aggressive. So you want to be able to have room to accept offers. So if somebody offers you $28, $24, maybe accept those offers, but you want to have a $40 average sale price to absorb it. But if you have a $20 or $25 item on Poshmark, people are going to offer you $5, $6, $7, $8 all day, and that's even more time consuming. So when I did Poshmark, I didn't have best offer. I just put, I'm not on here, so if you make me an offer, I won't respond because I'm focusing on eBay. And then I realized that not selling on Poshmark made my income explode, so I didn't sell on Poshmark. From my understanding, what Poshmark is going after is relationships like what they have with Free People, where Free People has 10, 20, 30 of the same item. That makes sense because Free People, they can sell on their website. They can also sell on Poshmark. It's not really cross-listing because it's cross-listing, but they have more than one item. So they wouldn't be delisting from freepeople.com when it sells on Poshmark. Poshmark would just be an additional revenue stream, not instead of. So when people do eBay, Poshmark, Mercari on a small scale, they have to delist off two platforms when one sells, and that's a huge pain in the butt for someone just starting. If you're just starting, like we hopefully have a new intern here, and I wouldn't say, you know what I recommend? 4 internships at the same time. Spend 1 hour here, 1 hour this one, 1 hour. Just like it would be difficult to learn how to do something if you intern at so many different places, and that is what I feel like happened to me. When I started reselling, they're like, sell on all the platforms. And I started to do that, and it was really confusing, and it didn't make sense. Yeah. So at my level, I still think I'm really only capable of selling on one platform. So why does a beginner think that they can sell on every platform? I did, but it just kind of foolish.
There's a couple questions about item specifics and
Yep.
how to word
Yep.
gender stuff. So from
Yep.
Elizabeth and AA.
Okay.
Between men's, MENS,
Yep.
men's with an apostrophe between the S,
Yep.
or just men.
Okay, so this is interesting. Men's with an apostrophe all rank the same. As far as like eBay's algorithm knows that male, men's with an apostrophe is the same thing. So there's a few different camps here. Either you go men and it's one or two less characters. So with eBay's 80 item limit, you could add in maybe another half a word with that 2 extra characters. Punctuation is not necessary on eBay, so I personally do men's, women's, no apostrophe, even though it's grammatically incorrect. I feel like when people type in men's shirt, they don't put MEN apostrophe S, and if they did, the algorithm would still know that it's the same thing. Now, I want to be really specific here because it depends on what it is. Some things people don't type in the gender, and sometimes people do type in the gender. So let me ask you guys in the chat, if you're searching for a shirt, right? Do you type in men's shirt size large? Do you type in shirt large? Do you type in, other than the brand, how do you type in? Do you type, everyone listening right now, please put in the chat, do you put gender? Do you put men's, men, women's, women? Do you put size, the word size? Do you put SZ? Do you just put the size directly? So hopefully the answers will all be different, and that's why eBay is a bit challenging, because you've got to match up how people search with how you write the title. So I'm about to review what I consider one of the worst eBay stores ever. And maybe they are really, really relevant because they have titles like shirt, which is, maybe that's the best title ever because maybe people just type in shirt. I feel like I'm a little bit more specific when I look for things, but maybe they start with shirt and you look through all of them. There's a lot there. I would guess that on eBay there are millions of shirts for sale. So I don't know how people are looking.
It looks like a lot of people are saying that they generally do put the gender, then they put the brand and the size.
Yeah.
Brand and size, yeah. Mr. Jonas says,
Jonas,
hi,
what's
do
up?
you have to fill out all item specifics until the circle is fully blue? Is it mandatory?
That's a great question. So it's not mandatory. Everything is optional. You could just put shirt and call it a day. Don't need to put any more item specifics in. Sometimes eBay will require you, which is above the fold on the listing process, certain things like brand, size, gender, shape of the item, so that you can give customers a better idea of it. And then in the additional, there's up to like 40 different item specifics that you can put in there, like country of origin, what it's made out of, type, sleeve, neck, all different kinds of item specifics. So my recommendation is all of them that are applicable, and the ones that you don't know, leave blank. That's how I would approach it. Do the best job you can, not the minimum effort. So this channel isn't minimum effort. It's daily refinement, which is always looking for the pursuit of excellence or perfection. So don't look for the minimum effort. That's a different channel. So this is the do everything channel.
But also, you don't have to put not applicable in all
Yeah,
the
don't put
things.
not applicable because not applicable will show up as something. And NA, N/A, not applicable, doesn't matter, who cares, don't put these things in there because it's going to mess it up. So just leave it blank.
Yeah. Digital Crack says, hey Chris, where can I find more information on the cost to ship shirts internationally? I want to understand costs and what to charge. Do you just have a standard shipping price for every country?
I personally, on eBay, I use the global shipping program. Most recently, before I was suspended, when I wasn't suspended, I tried different things. So you can either offer calculated shipping, where you enter in the exact dimensions and the exact weight of the item, and eBay will calculate customs for you, international shipping for you. That's the best way to do it. You could do flat rate. If you're selling items under 4 pounds, the United States Postal Service's first class is very competitive. Also, you can use a shipping consolidator like Pirate Ship. And what they'll do is, if you're shipping something to Canada or Poland or Germany, they'll bottle up or they'll consolidate all the packages going to Germany. and it's cheaper. So I would look at a shipping aggregator like Pirate Ship, use eBay shipping, and the best way to figure out the costs is to enter in the dimensions and weight on your listing and then search eBay on a private browser, look up your listing and put in the country of origin that you're looking to ship to. So pretend you're in Brazil, Germany, Australia, China, and figure out what it costs to ship to you as the customer. And you should be doing that anyway to figure out what your listings look like. So, would you buy from yourself? I mean, guys, maybe honestly answer this question, which is kind of maybe hits too close to home. Would you buy from your own store? Or are you just hoping to get lucky? Because I think a lot of people wouldn't buy their own items. So if you're not willing to buy your own items and you love yourself, then you've got a problem.
Salt Flakes says, I put my Poshmark on hold right before I hit the $600 earnings mark because I didn't want to have to report taxes on both platforms, eBay and Posh. Does getting two different W-4 tax forms complicated?
They're 1099 forms because the W-2 comes when you're actually an employee. That's silly. That's like saying, instead of making six figures, I just stopped at 30,000, so I stayed in my tax bracket. You don't want to do that. You want to make as much money as possible, and paying tax is good. So of course, you can limit the amount of tax that you pay. That's maybe business 101. But if you ever want any leverage, like you want to buy a home or you want to grow, you need to show a profit. So if you want, you can make $599 on every single platform and avoid them mandatorily sending you a 1099-C that you have to report to the IRS. But it's illegal because you have to pay tax even if you make $1. You have to report it yourself.
Yeah.
So don't do that. Just make as much money as like it's September. You're gonna take the next 3 months off. Like I just say, make as much money as possible. Pay tax. It's no big deal. Most likely you have enough write-offs that your tax would be really minimal anyway. You can write off a percentage of your home office. Okay, get how crazy this is. If you have a business, and everyone here listening has a business, you're by default a sole proprietorship in the US. You can write off things if you are a business, okay? If it's a hobby, you can't. So you do want to be a business, right? So like, if you, let's say I played pool on the side and I was trying to become a pool player, right? If I create a pool company and I make a YouTube channel talking about pool supplies, I can now write off some of my equipment. But if I'm just doing it for fun, I can't. All that stuff comes out of my personal tax. There's no way to write it off. So it's in everyone's best interest to file taxes and take the appropriate deductions. And we have all that information in our group. Also, we have an accountant in our group, Cheryl. So if you want to join at patreon.com/theresourcepodcast, tag Cheryl Miller. She's the accountant in our group, and she can give you professional tax advice. I can't. So just consider what I said right now all made up for entertainment.
Your opinion.
Yeah, it's my
I think
opinion.
part of the question was does getting two different 1099s
No.
complicate things?
You
And
can
it does
get
not.
you can get as many 1099s as you want. For a while there, I was kind of collecting them, and it's not a good idea. Again, like, let me give you guys another example. You guys tell me in the chat, should I do affiliate marketing? Affiliate marketing is where, like, you click my link below, bit.ly/resource supplies. You guys go to my Amazon store, you buy something, I get a 6% commission. Should I spend time on that? The reason why this is important is it brings up the Poshmark conversation. My Amazon affiliates, I can be transparent with you guys, makes like $500 a month, right? And it takes up one of the slots in my calls to action, right? So I just asked you guys, go to my link, bit.ly/resource supplies and buy something. That is $500 a month. But if I were to say, go to dailyrefinement.com right now and look at my shop, I just put up some jeans for sale and it's $145 for 45 pairs, which is $3 including shipping. It's a really good deal, which is true. I have 20 boxes left of jeans that I picked up 12 of them yesterday because I source on Sundays. So that earns $30,000 a month gross revenue. So my wholesale operation is like way bigger than my Amazon affiliates. But should I spend time on my Amazon affiliates? I think I personally should not spend time on that because my reselling business is bigger than that. So that's why I recommend if you're making $100 on eBay, why would you learn how to make $100 on Poshmark when it's easier to just make $200 on eBay? If you're making $100 profit on Poshmark, why would you learn how to make $100 on eBay and learn a whole nother platform instead of just making $200 on Poshmark? Just stay in your lane and don't intern at 4 different companies at the same time. It doesn't make sense.
Thank you for the super chat, Kyle S.
Kyle, thank you.
If I can get thousands of brand new Lily Pulitzer, Tommy Bahama, Peter Millar, etc., do you think I'm at risk of getting banned on eBay by brand for having many?
Yes, definitely. So every single brand has the same policy towards resellers, which is no resellers. So we're going to make a video on this, but first sale doctrine means once you buy something, you're legally allowed to resell it. Now, here's the problem. You have 1,000 Peter Millar, right? Peter Millar has a warranty on their goods. If there's something wrong with Peter Millar and you buy it at a Peter Millar store, they will take care of you. But if you buy it on eBay or Amazon or a third-party site, they can't offer that warranty to you because it's not them selling the item. They don't know if it's been altered. So they will come after you because gray market goods are kind of not allowed. So they're not allowed in the sense that you can legally sell them, but they can come after you because you're representing their brand and kind of messing up their market. So people had asked me, at what level do people really start to bother you? I would say that the minimum level is 100,000 per month. So if you're doing less than 100,000 per month, you probably have nothing to worry about. And it doesn't get until like 250,000 a month, that's more than most people will ever sell. Then the brand starts asking, where did you get this stuff? Right? But under 100,000, usually not an issue. One thing I would avoid is using stock photos. You're already making your money off of Peter Millar or Lily Pulitzer or whoever. Don't also steal their pictures if you don't want to make them mad. Like, I'm not a fan of that.
Kind of on that topic, Christian Santa Cruz is saying, is there any way to check Vero items before doing the listing?
No. So in our group, we have a list of commonly veroed items, but you kind of have to know from experience. That's why I recommend just selling 1 or 2 of items until you get used to it and get the hang of it before you invest in buying 1,000 of the same thing, because it's very risky. Having 1,000 of the same thing always raises eyebrows.
Brianna Janai is saying 3 tips starting eBay. What are 3 tips for starting eBay?
So get a schedule. So list at the same time every single day. Start around the house, because eBay is forever, in my opinion. You do reselling forever. So let's say you resell in the morning before your kids wake up, list a couple of items, start at home, use that money. And I have a few videos on this, but essentially I would sell stuff that you already own, get profit, use that profit to buy something to resell, wait for those items to sell, take that profit to resell. Don't use your own money. So don't use your own money, schedule, start at the house. Those are 3 tips.
Lucky Finds says, hi guys, question for eBay. If you get a return after 60 days without the customer opening a return request, how do you handle this case? Most likely a dropshipper purchased from me and then sold it.
So there's a couple things you can do here. You're not obligated by eBay to offer a return or a refund. So what you could do is you could offer them a partial refund or a full refund out of the kindness of your heart, but you don't have to. So you can just ignore it after 60 days because you've already fulfilled your duty. You've already offered your 60-day return policy. You're not on the hook for anything more than that. I don't know how many people are here, but everybody smash the like button. Consider subscribing if this is useful. And let us know what kind of content you want to make. And hopefully we can add more content that's useful for you guys.
Sylvia Hunt is saying, so I need to open an account and file as a business? That's when you're talking about hobby versus business.
You don't. You are already a business. You file under your social security number. So at the end of the year,
sole proprietor.
When you're a sole proprietor, which everyone is by default, you don't need to file anything. You just need to report it on your taxes.
Do you want to recap the 2 reasons why people want to resell?
Yes. So you guys let me know. Do you resell because you don't want a boss? That's number 1. Freedom. Don't want a boss, want to work for yourself. That's the top reason people resell. 48% of people have that as their number 1 reason. Maybe that's true for me, but I don't. I do have a problem with authority, I think, but I am also respectful in a sense that, like, I understand how difficult businesses are. So at my old job, I would have done anything for my boss. My boss actually died. If he didn't die at an early age, I might still be working for Lexus. I really like that job. And so I've had really, really great bosses. So that reason is not number one for me. Number two would be you want to earn additional money on top of your existing income. So this is people who work, have a full-time job, Social Security, or their spouse brings in the bacon, and they want to have additional bacon for vacations, extra spending money. So this is crazy. When doing the poll on the extra money, what they would use it for, number one was spending it on things that you don't need. Number two was bills. I thought that was hilarious. Like, people want extra money to buy stuff they don't need before paying the bills that they're not making enough. So like, let's say you have $4,000 worth of bills and you make $3,000 a month at your job. So each month you're going $1,000 more in the debt. If somebody gave you $1,000, you would rather just spend it on stuff you don't need than break even. So it is interesting because people will get a windfall. They'll start reselling, but then they'll be in the same or worse position than they were before. So I find that fascinating that spending money comes before bill money, right? But that's just the reality.
Kyle S says, I want more content on training employees.
Oh man. I think it's awesome having employees, but it's stressful. Like you have to think about, do I make enough money to pay them? Do they know what they're doing? Do they have the right resources? Do they have the right plan? Do they know what they're going to do before they get to work? So I will make some more resources on it, but I'll tell you that most people don't need employees. If you're trying to make like your first 100,000, try to make it on your own before you hire somebody. And most people should, the order that you should do it is work for somebody, build your side hustle on the side, go on your own, hire somebody. So I'll make some more resources on the hire someone, but that's like very, very small. You're asking me to make videos for a really small number of people.
Yes, people can be curious, though.
That's true. People could be curious. Maybe people will watch them and then not do it.
Right.
So we could do that.
Hesty's Emporium says, question, how much for the Jordans behind you, Chris?
I know, right? I'm giving them away. So if you guys follow me on Whatnot, I'm going to be giving away a pair of Travis Scott's, either the wheat, the olive, or, let's see, or the four. The four is the most valuable one.
Okay.
So the Travis Scott 4, you could pick this one, or you could pick coming here and learning how to resell from me in person, or 4 tickets to Disneyland, or $1,000 gift card to Amazon. So whatever you want, I'll give it to you for free. I'm going to be running this this Whatnot show. As soon as they give me the contract, we'll run it, and you'll be able to get the Travis Scotts. So I'm not going to be selling these. I'm just going to give them away. So all the stuff that I have, the rare stuff, it's so hard to get a good price on them that I'd rather just give them away.
Justin M says, how do you scale a part-time business when you have a full-time job? We are selling 100 per month on Mercari for 60 per copy. Extra room and time is the problem.
Yep, that's always the problem. So essentially, you can only scale a few different ways, but the main way is just to list more than you sell. That's all you have to do. Sell 10, list 11. Your store will scale. That's it. There's nothing fancy. Just list a couple more items than you sell, and your store will naturally grow over time. So everyone should write this down. Smash the like button, which is you need to increase the number of opportunities you have to sell each week. That's it. That's it. That's all reselling is. More opportunities to make more money. I currently am making about 7 pieces of content per week. I know other influencers that are making 167 pieces of content a week. I have no idea how they do that. I currently reselling 1,000 items per week, and I know resellers that sell 16,000 items a day. So the scale part is just slowly moving up, because if you put me in a building that sells 16,000 items a day, my brain would explode. I have no idea what that looks like, because I'm doing 200 a day. If I walked in, like 200 a day and 16,000 a day are totally different. So I think I might pass out. If I worked in one of those stores, I don't even know how they do that. So I think those stores have hundreds of employees, fancy conveyor belts. I don't know how you would even do that. That's so mind blowing. That's like multiple semi trucks of stuff a day of sales. So that's a different level. So everyone just be patient with where you're at. If you're doing 100 sales a month, all you need to do to scale is just list one more item. One or two or five more items doesn't take more time. So just got to be patient.
Nate says, "Hey Chris, do you recommend using the out of stock option?"
Yes. So I recommend using the out of stock option because people in your area won't know what you're selling. So in our group, we talk about how to find things in your area by zip code. And if you use the out of stock option, it's more difficult for your competition to figure out what you're selling. eBay does that to protect its larger sellers, to allow them to reorder when their items go out of stock. And I find it's nice. eBay does more stuff for small sellers, but that's one thing they do for larger sellers that I think is nice.
Kim says, "I'm going to be going through divorce and I currently don't work. If I commit myself on reselling 100%, is it reasonable to think I could be living off of it in 2 years if done correctly? Thank you."
I think so. I think that it really depends on the amount of capital that you have when you're starting. Not in a sense that you need it for reselling, but you need to be able to live. You don't need money to build a reselling business that can support you in 2 years. You just start with stuff around the house. So I think this is not in the top two reasons that people resell, but number three, or pretty close to number three, is probably being self-sufficient, right? So how many people in the chat want to be self-sufficient? You don't need somebody else's income. You don't need to be reliable. I don't know if you would go to the point where you would say like, I don't even want child support from the other person because I don't need it. Like that's like pretty extreme self-reliance. But like, could you be self-sufficient in 2 years? I would say it depends on if you have some income coming in to live on while you build your resale business up. And I wouldn't recommend you start being an entrepreneur. I would recommend you start at a job. So if you're going to be divorced, I would immediately start looking for full-time or part-time work. Or if you have some income coming in, live on that, let your reselling money reinvest it into itself. And in 2 years, it could very easily be enough for you to support yourself if you're making enough money when you resell to grow your store. So essentially, you would need to have 100 items in your store this week, next week 110, next week 120, and also the sales to pay you along the way. So it depends. For some people, if you're not currently working, I would say my guess is no. Like traditionally, the people who are successful as reselling, they're already working. They're working 40 hours a week. They move over to 40 hours a week reselling. That works. Going from 0 to 40 is more dramatic. So I would say that's usually unlikely, if I'm being honest. So I'd recommend go from 0 to 40 working for somebody else, get everything organized, then switch over if you're going to try and do it safely.
Kelly Bean says, "What is your definition of sell similar? The exact same, or as in brand also, or women's dress pants, any brand sell similar?"
Sell similar to me is anything where you can utilize item specifics or information beforehand. So like if I were to say Levi's sells really well for me, and you now downloaded that into your brain, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna sell Levi's. That's a form of sell similar. Our alarm's going on. So the sell similar, the more okay, can somebody tell me what the highest version of sell similar is? I think that's like an alarm going off from the wind outside. But guys, tell me, the smallest form of sell similar is you heard somebody sell something and you go buy that. What's the maximum version of sell similar? Hopefully people know, but I'm just gonna tell you. The maximum form of sell similar is sell one like this, which is the identical item. So I tell you, go buy Travis Scott wheats because the market value is 800. You go on the eBay, you have the exact same one. You put sell one like this, copy the same listing, it's the same size, same price, done. That's the easiest form of sell similar where everything is copied. So sell similar as a range. So I recommend selling similar as much as possible to the point where you're selling the exact same thing.
Crafty Girl says, "Hi Chris, if I bought inventory 1 year but didn't add it to my store until the next year, which year do I claim it?"
It depends if you do cash or accrual accounting. So I do cash accounting, so I have to account for the year that I buy. Accrual accounting, you accrue for it once it sells. So if you buy it year one, next year you don't sell it, 3 years now you don't sell it, 5 years later you sell it, then you would count the cost of goods when you sell it, if you're accrual accounting. So again, I'm not a CPA or an accountant, so talk to a pro, but it depends on which type of accounting you do.
Welcome, new member,
Nice.
Cheryl.
I appreciate everybody subscribing to the channel. That's really cool. I make the best videos I can for you guys.
Yiyo the God says, "What is the best way to cancel an order without hurting your eBay account?"
So you can do this, which is like, hey, Mr. Customer, Mrs. Customer, I apologize. I was unable to find the item. Would you like something similar in my store, or would you like an immediate refund? That's the verbiage. Is it verbiage or verbiage?
Verbiage, I think.
That's the verbiage that I use, which is, would you like something else in my store that's similar, or would you like a full refund? And if they respond back, please cancel, I want a refund, then you can select that reason is customer wanted a refund and I refunded their money. Otherwise, you have to click, if you're doing it by the book, you have to click the out of stock, couldn't find it, which is a defect towards your account. So my recommendation is try to get them to buy something else in your store so you can send it to them. Otherwise, you gotta take it on the chin. That's why I recommend an inventory system where you never lose anything, because those defects are the worst.
Peyton House says, "Can you hide your solds without using the out of stock option?"
No, you can only hide your solds using the out of stock option. And also let us know if you guys can hear us okay. I prefer using the lav, but apparently you guys can hear us fine without it. Also, last week we did AirPods and apparently it was fine, but these microphones should be better.
Yeah, I think it's working fine.
Okay.
Alicia says, "I know you don't recommend starting a resale business without a primary job, but more and more people are doing this. Would you consider doing a video for us who are in this position?" So starting without a job.
Okay. So what do you guys think? Do you think, because I would love to do this with our new intern. Like, okay, is this really like where you try to live as cheaply as possible? So you try if you can to live at home if that's an option, or live with a friend if that's an option, because rent, transportation, food are a lot of money, right? So I'm worried about people not having a full-time job because of that. I need you to have a place to live. I need you to have some wheels, ideally, because it's really hard to go thrifting on the bus. You gotta take all that stuff with you. It's a bit challenging to go to the post office without a pickup. Place to live, transportation, food. So maybe we need to do an extreme version of how to live as frugally as possible while you're getting your business off the ground. So is that ramen every single day? Is that you signing up for all the mailing lists for all the openings of grand like restaurants where you can go there and get free food in an event? Is it utilizing homeless shelters? Or in my area, in California, if you don't have food, they will give you food. You can get food from churches, you can get food from, there's a lot of organizations that will not let you go hungry. So if you don't eat, right, and you live very minimally, I don't know if you could live in your car and do this, because you do need a little bit of a setup, but maybe we try and do that. But honestly, it's still easier to get a part-time job and start that way. Like, I don't necessarily recommend van life, gym membership, homeless shelter, food. That is not my favorite way of building. I would never recommend that for somebody, because getting a part-time job is easier. But if you don't want to do that, maybe you can't get a part-time job, because there's people in our group that have multiple felonies. There's people who can't work physically. So in that scenario, I guess we could go over some frugal living lifestyle tips. That makes me wonder, like, if you lived with your parents, right, could you source online, right? So you're at home, no car, buy stuff online, comes to your house, you resell it for a profit, you only eat ramen, and then the rest of your time is YouTube for entertainment, right? maybe you can get by on 5 to 10 listings a day and never work again. You just live with your parents, eat ramen every single meal, watch YouTube 23 hours a day, because YouTube is awesome. So you could just entertain yourself and just do a couple of hours of work. I don't know. We can make some content like that, but I'm really curious, like, how cheaply could you live? Could you live healthy on beans and rice? I think so. I think in over half the world just eats beans and rice, some form of that. So I'm curious, like, um, I don't know. Maybe we've all gotten a little bit soft, but I wonder, like, how cheaply could you build a business from scratch with nothing if you didn't have a part-time job? If you refuse to get a part-time job, then I don't know. I'm not going to do the homeless experiment because I realize that's not real. Because I would basically pretend I'm homeless on the video and then go back to my house.
Right.
So I'm not going to pretend that. And living in a van doesn't work because I have a baby. So I'm curious on how we can do that. I want to do 5 more questions, guys. So
Nate says, I offer free returns, but sometimes get a return that doesn't fit. There's no way
Yeah.
of preventing that, so
Yeah.
why does eBay hold that against you?
they don't. So eBay allows you to have as many buyer's remorse and doesn't fit fits into that. They don't penalize you for doesn't fit. So I recommend taking pictures of the measurements, putting the measurements in the item specifics, and you're doing the best that you can. eBay does not penalize you.
Jeffrey says, hi Chris, thanks for all your amazing information. How do I mark an item as out of stock on eBay?
So in the site preferences page, if you go there, in the click on the top left, your name, go to site preferences. It's one of the very first things. You can toggle on and off the out of stock option to hide your solds. It's not necessary though, unless you're really doing like 20, 30 sales a day. I wouldn't worry about stuff like this. People are worried about, like, you only would really worry about it if you sell a lot of things, so people don't copy you. If you're only selling a few things, no one's going to copy you.
Do you need a store subscription for that?
No,
Oh,
I don't think so. Wait, do you? Somebody in the chat confirm if you need a store subscription to put the out of stock option. I
feel
don't
like
think. I
I'm
don't
not
think
sure.
so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay.
When I was building my store from scratch, I didn't even have a store for the first like 3 months, so I was just saving money.
Scott Howerton says, I've been reselling for 2 years and I feel I'm ready to scale up. What do you recommend I do to buy bulk clothing?
Oh my God. Buying bulk clothing is really hard. I still buy clothing one at a time. It's really, 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 really freaking difficult. Yesterday I spent a few hours at Marshall's looking for items and I only bought 18 items in the whole store. The day before I went to an outlet and spent 3 or 4 hours there. I only bought 19 items. So it's not that easy to buy bulk without buying a whole bunch of stuff you don't want. I'm experimenting with that as well. We're getting a pallet, I think, tomorrow. So tomorrow there'll be a pallet arriving, and I need you guys to buy the ridiculous deal I have for jeans for $145 for 45 because I need to clear out space for the pallets. So essentially what I'm going to do, I think, is really sell all my jeans every week really cheap to make space for bulk clothing. And I'll show you guys how I get rid of the inventory that's bad. 80% of the inventory in bulk will not work on eBay. So you just got to figure out a way to sell it. Whether live auction sells, selling it to other resellers, flea market, bulk lots on Facebook Marketplace. These are all different ways to get rid of bulk clothing, but it's very difficult. The problem with buying bulk clothing is it's never the same. You're going to get lots of different, and that's going to be more difficult than thrifting the exact same items over and over again. That's why bulk clothing is so hard. I don't fully know how to do it, or I think I'd be a bajillionaire. If I could figure out how to order in bulk items, it just hasn't worked out for me like that.
Let's see. I just had one.
2 more questions, guys.
Kim says, at what point would you change your account to a store?
Maybe 250 items. Once you have 250 items, get a basic store.
April Baby Vintage says, hi guys, what verbiage do you use to decline a refund due to size being too small for them when you've already listed measurements and are listed as a no return shop?
Send it back. That's how, you can't offer no returns because they can say the item fits smaller than expected, and you have to accept the return. There is no way to offer no returns. My friend, I quote him a lot. One Luxottic thread. He has no returns, but still takes returns because the customer can just say there's something wrong with it. So instead of getting that defect, if item not is described, just accept the return. If you have no returns, it reduces the amount of people who return the item, but don't risk the defect. Don't say, sorry, we don't accept returns. Then they'll just reopen it saying there's something wrong with it. Just accept the return. Say no returns, and if somebody wants a return, let them return it. That's the best way to do it. It's impossible to not offer returns if you're going to be an online retailer. Okay, if this makes you feel any better, I consider it a form of online shoplifting. But all companies have a form of online shoplifting. Like all companies, it's called shrinkage. They actually plan for that. Also, if you guys are looking for something fun to watch, Google Best Buy loss prevention. It's pretty awesome. At Best Buy, there's some of the workers there tackle people when they're trying to shoplift, and it's hilarious. Like they're really, really good at not letting you steal. But in California, you'd get sued for doing that. But in other states, maybe you can take down somebody trying to steal something. I just found it to be so awesome. Like Target, they can apprehend you if they've called the police. So I saw this. This guy was, I can't remember, I don't know what he was shoplifting, but the guy was on the intercom saying, did you contact the police? Because they need to be contacted before. And then he basically tackles the guy, holds him down until the police arrive. So I just thought, wow, in California, you probably would get sued if you tackled somebody because people here, it's just not like that. But buying bulk is really, really, really scary. Maybe one more.
Well, thank you for the super chat.
Thank you.
Cashflow fam, 1999.
Appreciate it.
Nice, thank you. They say love your content, just showing some love.
Thank you. So appreciate you guys. Wait, let's do one more question.
Okay. There was one when you were talking about the jeans that you're selling. Peyton House says, what brands are the jeans?
The brands are all mall brand jeans, so J. Crew, Old Navy, Gap, Banana Republic. Everything that you would find at your normal mall, those are the jeans. They should all sell for between 10 and 15 plus shipping. So those are the brands that I sell in the mall brand jeans. We have 20 boxes left. They probably will all sell today. And they're not going to ship today because today is a holiday, but they're going to be picked up tomorrow. So they take about a week to arrive if you're on the East Coast. If you're on the West Coast, it'll arrive this week. UPS ground has been really fast. So appreciate you guys. Make sure those are sold out. The alarm is going off because it's a steal. So appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys next week.
Thanks for hanging out. Bye.